Rational model of a business organization. What is an organization? An organization is a structure of formal relationships designed to achieve technical or economic goal with maximum efficiency. An organization is the rational coordination of the activities of a number of people for the achievement of common explicit purpose or goal through a division of labor and function and through a hierarchy, authority, and responsibility. If an organization is looked at this way, the most fundamental elements of organization are formal hierarchies of authority identified in the organization chart that represents the various official positions and lines of authority in the organization. And there you can see an example of the organization chart. Formal hierarchies identified in the organizational chart are the firm's fundamental realities. Organizations seek to coordinate the activities of members so as to achieve their goals with maximum efficiency. Information rises from the bottom of the organization to the top. Contracts obligate the employees to loyalty, pursue the organization goals, and employer to provide a just wage and a just working conditions.
Agency is a set of laws that specify the legal duties of an agent towards their principal. An example of an agent would be the employees, and an example of their principals would be the employers. For example, an example of this would be where one employee asks another employee to order goods on his behalf, and then their principals may be implied. In such case, he will be bound by contracts as if he has expressly authorized them. Conflict of interest occurs when an employee has an interest that provides an incentive to do his or her job in a way that serves their personal interest but not necessarily serves the interest of an employer, a fellow employee, or the organization he or she is obligated to. For example, if an employee helps himself by hurting his employee or employer by taking money from the company to purchase inferior goods for his own company. Necessary conditions for a conflict of interest to arise. Employee or office is engaged in carrying out a certain task for his or her employee. The employee has an interest that gives him or her an incentive to do tasks in a way that serves that interest, and the employee has an obligation to do the task in a way that serves the interest of his or her employer, free of any incentive to serve another interest. A bribe is a consideration given or offered to an employee by a person outside the firm with the understanding that when business for the firm, the employee transacts business for the firm, the employee will deal favorably with that person or that person's firm. We strongly believe that commercial bribe is a very unethical practice, and an example of this would be like if a wealthy business owner needs help with money laundering, he will go to someone in power with power, and for an example of a person with power would be a minister, and this minister would help him with this money laundering in exchange for money for future campaigns or future projects.
Theft. Part of the employee's agreement with the employer is that he or she will use the resources and goods of the firm in the pursuit of the firm's legitimate aims. Theft information includes theft of digitized programs, music, movies, ebooks, and so on, as well as trade secrets, company plans, and proprietary formulas or other data of the company. It is considered to be theft also even if it's not the original being taken or changed, but only copied, examined, or used within the consent of the owner, it is considered theft. Lastly, theft violates the owner's rights to have property used as he chooses, even if theft does not violate or injure the owner themselves. Then comes insider trading. Insider trading is the act of buying and selling a company's stock on the basis of inside information about the company. The ethics of insider trading is 1. To be unethical because it is theft of information that gives the insider an unfair advantage. Secondly, insider trading has been defended because 1. It ensures stock prices reflect the true value of stock. 2. It harms no one. And 3. Because it has an advantage over others in the stock market and is not wrong in itself and is common with experts.
Commercial extortion occurs when an employee demands a consideration for a person outside the firm as a condition for dealing favorably with those persons when the employees transact business for the firm. The ethics of accepting the gift depends on the value of the gift, the purpose of the gift, the circumstances of the gift, the job of the recipient, accepted, and public local practices, company policies on the gift, legal prohibition on the gift. Critics. Some critics are that the rational model was built on an unsuitable assumptions and with limited recognition of dissertation under the study of the organization. For conflict of interest, many say that employees are being biased because they are either financial relationships which are objective or have an emotional tie or relationship which is subjective.
The first pointer in defenses is the rational model of the organization supposes that most information is collected from operating layers in the organization. The second pointer states conflicts of interest that are based on financial relationships are sometimes called objective conflict of interest, while conflicts of interest that are based on emotional ties, etc., are sometimes called subjective conflict of interest. Lastly, insider trading does not in fact harm anyone.
Conclusion. As to conclude, the rational organizational model is a structure on how the business is formed. The business is formed as a hierarchy of authority, where there are top, middle, and operating layers. Employees have the obligation to their employer. The role of the employee is to help the firm achieve the goal and help the employer achieve its goal. There are some employees that do illegal acts just for their own benefits.